If we talk about the pact, we're in reality talking about 12 different documents, almost 500 pages of text, some of it legal stuff, some of it political, some technical. So to be very honest, what I can give you today is a very preliminary assessment. Like most people here in Brussels, we're still studying the details. Some of the points the European Commission wants to achieve by law or technical arrangements is they want to speed up asylum procedures. They want to have a very clear distinction between people coming in through asylum and being sent back because they're deemed not to be worthy of being protected internationally. And they're looking at stronger protection of certain groups, vulnerable, plus at a more coordinated response to returning people, stronger cooperation with third countries. To be very honest, it was presented as the new idea. A lot of it are things we've heard before. For example, asylum procedure have been dramatically long in lots of European member states. Member states have not really invested a lot of money in making them faster by having qualified staff, enough staff. So there's a bit of a question what will change here. Similarly for returns, there's a lot of reasons why people cannot return even if they wanted, and it's very unclear how this will change. What is really relatively new is that it will be becoming almost always compulsory that people go through a pre-screening, and then a lot of them will be referred to a very short procedure where we have a certain concern if this is really an individual assessment of their claims. And what is new, there's always been the debate about solidarity in receiving people. That was particularly a question of member states' governments, but also societies in places like Greece, like Cyprus, Italy at the external border. There's still the notion of solidarity, but to a bit of our surprise, it is not exclusively solidarity in hosting them, but you can express solidarity as a member state by helping to send people back, which is a bit surprising and for us worrying, given that asylum is a fundamental right. Yes, you have been mentioning the appeal we launched on the 22nd, so on the eve of the presentation of the pact, and it was indeed remarkable. It was a dozen organizations who got together, global, regional, national organizations. So that is a pretty new quality, and we're very happy about the cooperation. We do on Brussels level already for years work together with faith-based networks, predominantly Christian, of course, and that goes right across the spectrum: Protestant, Orthodox, Anglican, Roman Catholic, Quakers, and others. Yeah, I mean, we on the one hand will inform about what's been out there, what has been proposed, and I think that's important. We will probably, on the basis of what we are experiencing on the ground, what our member churches are experiencing on the ground, be able to add certain information. For example, the European Commission says, well, it's only 1/3 of the people asking for asylum who get status. That's statistically correct for the first instance, but our churches know that many people then go to court and the independent courts recognize them. So that information of the Commission is not complete. And I think it will be important nationally and on EU level to supplement the information underpinned by the practice of churches in Europe. We will here with our representations in Brussels be talking to politicians. We've had a meeting this morning at the European Commission. I've talked to MEPs yesterday. We're talking to the representation of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. So there's various entry points. And most importantly, we have members across Europe, because this is something which will be decided upon between the European Parliament and the Council, where the member states are represented. So it is important that our colleagues in Athens, in Berlin, in Riga are taking up the issues and formulating our concerns. It is clear there are many other actors on the ground and in the discussion, but we are quite hopeful that we are able to contribute additional information and positions. DCME actually an organization which was founded in 1964 by the World Council of Churches and has over the years developed into the European Agency of Churches, an ecumenical agency on asylum and migration, integration and anti-discrimination, anti-racism. And the organization responds to the calling of the Bible to welcome the stranger, to the call for a society which no longer determines between strangers and natives and extends a welcome to all. And our mission is to assist the churches in their work and to make the work of the churches and their positions heard here on the Brussels level. So there's a twofold role we have. And all of that is, of course, done through networking among the churches who have enormous competence in this area at their often presence in location where no other actor is present anymore. Well, obviously, as you were saying, we're motivated as an organization by the theological calling, by the ethical calling. And I've mentioned the call to welcome the stranger, but also the Old Testament teaching about hospitality being a central expression of the love of God, hospitality to others. In a personal dimension, I must say my parents were both what we nowadays would call internally displaced persons. And they have told me that there were people who behaved like loving humans towards them, and there are others who didn't. And I always said, if I'm in the situation, I would like to take the right side. So I think that's what personally motivates me. And I think as churches, we have a unique role because, of course, we formulate what I would theologically refer to as the preferential option for the migrants, but that is not at all exclusive of the love of God for all, including people who have very different positions on migration. So I think we have a unique role enabling debate, good-hearted but controversial debate on what migration does with Europe, where we wanted to go. And let's be very honest, a lot of issues which are at the moment formulated about migration have bigger problems behind. People no longer finding jobs, not having any place to live anymore, scarcity of resources, societies more and more disintegrating, not only with migrants, but generally disintegrating. And I think we as churches have a view of the human being and society, which is holistic, which says it should be a harmonious living together based on equality, on respect, and on the common good. And I think based on that, we are able to provide, hopefully, perspectives, answers, proposals for those who have been here for generations and those newly coming in, and formulating that we have a strong belief, which can hopefully be an orientation in situations where it's often not so clear what the situation will bring. The motivation is there with the telling of the Bible, have no fear. That doesn't mean we need to be unrealistic or naive, but it should give us a spirit of hope and clear mind.